Hello, welcome back for another very special Gympie Regional Library's author interview. This week we have with us Lucas Proudfoot. He is an Indigenous author, performer and musician. We did have him originally booked to come and speak to us in person, but with the current climate he has agreed to speak with us online, and he's got some very special things planned for us. So please continue watching as we chat with Lucas Proudfoot.
Hello! Hello, Lucas Proudfoot here, author and performer of the Proudfoot's book series. You can see the banner right behind me. We've got Pat the Wombat, we've got Cool As Koala, and Billy Blue Tongue. They love everything about music, story, and culture, things that I actually love. I've got the books here. Book one, well, it's a 5-part book series, but book one, Shaka Shaka Hawaii. Book two, Rocking in Japan. Book three, Magic Globe. What magic globe? Well, you're probably thinking, what magic globe? There's a magic globe involved in this story, but it goes missing. Let's just say a bush turkey is involved. Book number four, Surfing the Amazon. And book number five, this is the one I'm going to read today. Chapter one of this book, Snowflakes in New Zealand. That's coming very, very soon. But a little bit of history about myself. On my mum's side, we grew up on the Tweed coast of New South Wales. My mum's family, part of the local Aboriginal and Islander community there. My father's family as well come from that region, but his great-great-grandfather, way back, I think about great-great-grandfather, Scottish background. And that's where I get my last name. My last name, Proudfoot. And it's, what? I know what you might be thinking, Proudfoot. Are you proud of your foot? Kids get it wrong all the time. Little kids especially, because I do show for little young ones as well, 3, 4 and 5-year-olds. And sometimes they look at me and go, hey, Mr. Loudfoot. I'm like, no, it's Proudfoot. And they're like, hey, Mr. Longfoot. I'm like, no, it's Mr. Proudfoot. And sometimes when they get really cheeky, they go, hello, Mr. Chubbyfoot. I'm like, uh-oh, it's Proudfoot. But anyway, I get to work in schools, and for the last 10 years, I've been traveling across this big, beautiful country, sharing the power of story and also music as well, because I love to play music. And I've got some instruments right there behind me, some didgeridoos, and I'm going to give you a demonstration of that very, very soon. But I always say to the kids and teachers, music, story, culture, it's about sharing and connecting. We're going to do that here today. So buckle yourself in, because the next part coming up, going to be the didgeridoo section. I hope you enjoy. Ooh-wee. All right, so I said I go into schools. So when I go into schools, I also like to share stories about certain instruments. And one of those instruments I've got with me today is the didgeridoo. If you didn't know, traditionally this instrument is known as a yiraki. And it comes from the Arnhem Land region in the Northern Territory of Australia. This instrument is home and belongs to the Yolngu people. The Yolngu people up in that region, this is a big part of their song and story. So when you go up to those different regions up in that northeast Arnhem Land region, you'll have different names for this instrument. You'll have different ways of playing it, different techniques, but I'm just going to give you some of the more basic ones here today. So we know it, the English name, didgeridoo, but the traditional name, yiraki. Now in my story series, you can see right there, Pat the Wombat, and he's playing it right there. He plays the didgeridoo. The other characters play guitar. Billy at the back there, he plays the big drum with his big, big fat tail. Whole nother story. But you can see Pat the Wombat is playing the yiraki or didgeridoo. This one you can see right here. This is a traditional yiraki from that top end region, up in the Arnhem Land region. As you can see, it is made out of wood. Termites eat through the tree to make it hollow, from the top to the middle and to the bottom. Millions of termites marching through the bush, eating through thousands of trees, hollowed out. The top of a tree, they look for the eucalypt tree, the stringy bark tree. Now, the stringy bark tree produces a very, very skinny trunk, like this one you can see right here. The termites, like I said, eat from the top to the middle and to the bottom. The mob, when they're looking for this instrument, thousands of years of bush knowledge and passed down through story, they know exactly what to look for. They look for the big termite's nest. They look for those trees that have been hollowed out. They know exactly what to look for. They come up to that tree, they strip back the bark, and they would tap, listening for that hollow sound. If it's hollow, they could have a good instrument for their song and ceremony. chop the bottom, chop the top, trunks of the tree, and they might take 3 or 4 trunks back to the riverbank. One thing you got to remember, up in the top end region, we don't have to worry about it down here, but up in that top end region, you got to watch out for crocodiles. That's right. But they're down near that river, and they've got to carve it back to the hardwood, from the top to the middle to the bottom, carving it back to the hardwood, get all that bark off. Chisel the bottom, chisel the top. It's hard work. These days, modern day, they can make 5 or 6 didgeridoos today, maybe even more with modern day machinery. Back in those old times, they had a sharp stick or something, or sharp rock, and those utensils, and they would carve them out like that. Hard work. Once you carve it out, you can fill it up full of water, wash it out like that, wash, and let it dry. You got to wash out the wood chips and the termites and the little ones that are left behind there, and the eggs, and then you let it dry. But you can't leave it out in the hot sun, because if you leave this out in the hot sun, it might warp and crack. And if your didgeridoo, yidaki, has a hole in it, you need to fix them up ASAP. Now, a couple of different ways you can do this. You can use beeswax to fix up those cracks and those holes. You can use tree sap to fix up those cracks and those holes. Some mobs, even it's very popular for binding tools as well, very common, was kangaroo fat, the skin of a deep sleeping kangaroo. Hands up if you've ever seen a deep sleeping kangaroo on the side of the road before. Maybe. But that skin melted with charcoal becomes very sticky like a bush glue, and you can fix up those cracks and those holes. And if you don't have any of that, you can just, it's just real easy. You just use a $10 roll of gather tape from Bunnings. Anyway, now to play the instrument. It's all about vibrating your lip. Like that. That's how to get the sound. So I'm going to give you a quick demonstration. It's like blowing raspberries. Put it to the instrument, it looks and sounds like this. But to keep the instrument going, you got to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth at the same time. In through your nose, out through your mouth at the same time. There is 2 very important things. Number one, you have to have a clean nose. Now, I work a lot with little preschool kids, and sometimes I say to them, have you got a clean nose? And I always get one little fellow look at me and go, yes, I've got the cleanest nose. I'm like, uh-oh. They go to play, and all their friends are like, don't do it. And he goes, oh. And sometimes a big bubble goes, whoa. Now, that might be a story. But anyway, the bubble's so big, I pop it. Number 2, you gotta have a big tummy. Now I've got a big tummy. I wear dark colors these days just to hold it in. But this is where all the air comes from, your diaphragm. Now I've got a big diaphragm right here. It pumps. Without the instrument, it looks like this. And I want you to keep a close eye here, especially on my 6-pack, my diaphragm. In through your nose, out through your mouth. That's working your diaphragm. This is what it looks like. In through your nose, out through your mouth. If I go sideways, it might even look, I mean, you can see the diaphragm working. But anyway, if you put it to the instrument, it looks and it sounds like this. Oh, and I can play for 5 minutes, no stopping, 10 minutes, no stopping, because the air goes in and out. Here we go. Circular breathing, slow style. And if you want to go fast, you just bounce that diaphragm. Now, you can play some sounds as well. Today, we're going to do a couple of sounds. The first one we might do, dingo. You pop your hand up like that. Everywhere you go, there's going to be different sounds. One thing you have to remember, Aboriginal Australia is very big and very diverse, and everywhere you go, they've got different ways of doing different sounds, different languages, different protocols. But we're going to try this one. We're going to keep it nice and fun, and we can do that dingo. Sometimes kids look at this one and go, it's a llama. It's not a llama. We're going to pretend this one is dingo. Now, if you can't do that, you can do that. Sometimes I get kids looking at me going, look at my dingo. I'm like, what's that? It looks like a cockatoo got electrocuted, but that's all right. We try it like that one there. That dingo, he howls. Dingo. Next one, emu. The emu, you listen to when he walks around. If you go to the wildlife park or you go out Westway, you can see those big emus walking around. The big long neck, and it makes the sound. And I always say when I'm doing the live show, next time you go to the wildlife park, have a listen to the Emu when he walks around. He's got the bigger longer neck, and in his bigger longer neck, he got a big Adam's apple. Every time he goes down to get something to eat, he make the sound. That emu got the big long neck. Make this sound. Uh-oh. Emu. And the last sound, kangaroo. Now that kangaroo, he bounces around like this one. And when I do the shows with the young ones, they love bouncing this kangaroo style. And you've got two ears like that, shaking, scratching. That kangaroo, I want you to imagine him bouncing. And that is the kangaroo. So the didgeridoo is a very, very cool instrument. I'm going to show you another one very soon. But I'll finish off here by showing you all those sounds connected together. That is the didgeridoo. Yeah. Well, I'm back. Lucas Proudfoot here, author and performer of the Proudfoot's book series. Now I'm going to read you chapter 1 of book 5, which is this one right here. But in my stories, I like to write about things I know, things that I love. Music, story, and culture, things that I love, so that I include them into my books. You see, Pat, Coolaz, and Billy are 3 friends that discover a magic globe. And with that magic globe, they can go to anywhere they want to in the world. They discover that magic globe in their uncle's, his name is Uncle Bruss, in the back of his shed, his old fishing shed, like a beach shack. And with that magic globe, they can go to anywhere they want to in the world, sharing their music and culture, but also learning about the countries that they travel to as well. I've been very lucky as a cultural performer to travel to over 25 different countries around the world, sharing music, story, and culture, and also surfing as well. Surfing was a big part of my background about 10 years ago, always in and around the ocean. But I grew up a lot. I spent a lot of time at my nan's place growing up, and when we're at nan's on the weekend, we'd always go fishing. So the saltwater culture was ingrained in us from a very, very young age. So when I started writing the Proudfoot series, I thought, well, I'd like these characters to also have those experiences, and then I get to share them through their stories with the rest of the world now. So the whole 5 books are out, and I'll show you that I've got a really cool interactive website as well. I'll show you some information. I'll give you some information about that very soon. It's got music, it's got a really cool YouTube channel, and some live downloads as well. Some music MP3s that you can download, which is great. Colouring in sheets, very interactive. But I'm going to read you book 5, chapter 1, called Snowflakes in New Zealand, and you'll get a gist of what I just spoke about of the culture and fishing and the ocean in this chapter. And these are illustrated by Luke Malley. Really nice colours. Luke Malley's a Murray fella he grew up in Mackay, and absolutely awesome illustrations there. I'm not a very good drawer. I like to perform, but the illustrations were by Luke Malley. I'm going to read you chapter 1, Snowflakes in New Zealand. It was a fresh winter's morning in Footstomp Creek, and a calm ocean swell gently lapped the sandy shoreline at Whitewash Beach. A cool westerly wind started to blow in as Pat the Wombat, Coolaz Koala, and Billy Bluetongue ambled along the gravel road past the beach on their way to school. It was the first day back after the winter break, and the Proudfoots were sleepily swapping stories of their holidays when suddenly they heard a familiar voice coming from near the water's edge. "Let's go!" shouted Pat's Uncle Bruss to a crew of locals who were gathered on the beach. The old wombat was already knee-deep in the chilly water, busily prepping a huge fishing net. "Morning, Uncle," hollered Pat. Uncle Bros turned and grinned when he spotted the youngsters up on the road. "Hey, morning, you three," he replied with a wave. "See, Mullet?" called Coolaz as she, Pat and Billy scampered down to the shoreline. "Too right, we've been tracking this lot for hours," the sea-savvy elder explained. Every year in the wintertime, Uncle Bros and his salty beach troop would follow the sea mullet up and down the coastline from Bandicoot Bay to Whitewash Beach. Netting fish had always been an important part of the local culture in Foot Stomp Creek, and the skills and knowledge had been passed down from generation to generation. Many years ago, the beaches were overfished, and the local mobs had been left with hardly any sea mullet at all. The wise old elders of the region, though, they put their heads together and introduced strict catch limits of 7 big buckets only to keep the balance. Ever since, the numbers of fish had grown bigger and bigger, and so today, the fishing tradition was as strong as ever. "First big catch of the winter," Uncle Bros announced proudly, nodding out to the water. "I reckon we could use a few extra paws and claws to help us haul it in." He finished with a wink at the Proudfoots. "Wahoo!" cried Billy, fist pumping the air in excitement. Pat and Coolaz grinned at each other and started rolling up their sleeves, honoured to be asked to help. After a hard, tiring 20 minutes or so, the Proudfoots and Uncle Brus's fishing crew had finally dragged the heavy, drenched net to shore, chock-a-block full of sea mullet. Uncle Brus was showing the Proudfoots how to check that all the fish were to size when suddenly a cheery voice boomed out from behind. "7 big buckets, my bro!" Everyone spun around to see a battered old truck backing up to the water's edge. "Big Kiwi John, right on time," chuckled Uncle Brus. I wonder where it goes from there, but they go on a big adventure. That's chapter 1, Snowflakes of New Zealand, or in New Zealand. Righto, now the website. The Proudfoot's website is very interactive. It's just theproudfoots.com.au, and each character has their own song. You can download them for absolutely free in the play section. I'll just see if I can share it with you now, but let me see if I can share that, if that pops up. Yeah, so I think that's working. But if you're the home section, you can see where the books are available. If you go to the play section, which is the one I'm talking about now, if you scroll down on this page, you'll have some YouTube clips of different things I've done over the last 10 years or so. You can see some of the live footage as well, which is a lot of fun. Some of the travels around Australia, but also that's where the MP3s are for each character. And some of the titles also have a theme song as well. Absolutely free, and MP3 format. You just download that song and it will just pop up and it's yours for free. If you go along the website, you've got some history about, some background about myself, the about section, what's on, that needs to be updated. I'll get onto that. The school section as well. The school section, a lot of fun. There is colouring in sheets. I think there's about 6 or 7 colouring in sheets that you can download. They're in PDF format, and there's also a quiz sheet as well. So it's very interactive. Facebook page you can check out, and also an Instagram handle as well, which is the Proudfoots123. The Proudfoots123. So very interactive website. I hope you enjoy, and I'd like to say a big thank you to the Gympie Library for inviting me to share some of this content with you, the Proudfoot Story World, and I really look forward to in-person performing for you very soon. So I hope everyone's having a good day, a good week, a good month, and we'll see you soon. Ooh, yay!